Hello! In today's lesson, we will continue the process of importing demo data from our theme. Here I have my Sublime text open, showing the files and folder for the WordPress installation in which the theme is ready. The files I have here are the same files I have in the version of the site that is already online, right? But that's not crucial, okay? Our goal will be to grab these themes files and get it ready for redistribution. In the previous lesson, we generated 3 files with all WordPress content, all widgets, and customizer settings. Inside those files, they have a kind of snapshot with all the content we had at that moment. One thing you have to understand, if you haven't so far, is that we are working with 2 independent WordPress layers. One layer is for theme files, which are these here. The other layer is the database. In the last lesson, we generated 3 files that represent the database layer relative to our WordPress theme. Without understanding this, my explanation will seem confusing because you wonder why I generated the database-related data on a remote server, but now I'm back at a local host to complete the process. Now we need to prepare the code for the theme. So just to emphasize my point, it's like we have 2 layers of information. On one side, we have the database represented by the exported content, images, posts, pages, widgets, customizer data. On the other side, we got the theme files. So let's go for it. I'm going to create a new folder inside my theme directory, and I will call this folder demo-data. And I'm going to put the generated files in the last lesson in here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a file inside this demo data folder. Let's call this file ocdi.php. OCDI in this case, it stands for one click demo import, okay? Here we're gonna put all the necessary code for the actions that have to take place when the user decides to install the demo data. For it to be part of our theme's flow, we want to require the file inside the functions.php, just like we did for these other files. Let's do this right below the call for the TGM library. Okay, what types of action do we want to take as soon as the user decides to install the demo data? Well, we need to do 3 things. First, we have to make the plugin load the 3 files with the exported content, these 3 files over here. Then it will need to automatically configure our 2 menus. Remember that the menus are also being exported. So we have to find a way to assign each of them with the correct menu position. Finally, we have to find a way to configure which one will be the theme's homepage and which one will be the blog's page. Otherwise, the homepage will simply show a list of posts, not according to the layout we've been working on during the course. Luckily, one-click demo import allows us to do this and much more. You'll find all the necessary code on the plugin page on wordpress.org. Here in the facts section, I have everything I need. First, how to predefine demo imports. Here it tells me how to get the data inside the exported files and store it into the WordPress database. This is the default method of doing it. Just notice here that the files are somewhere on the internet in this example. But our files will be inside the themes folder, inside that demo data folder. If this is your case, as is our case here, you'll need another code snippet, which you can find just below. Here, what about using local import files from theme folder? So let's copy all this code and let's paste it into the file ocdi.php. Let's leave only one array. Each array corresponds to a theme demo. Let's suppose you have prepared 4 different demos of the same theme. You can configure the other demos, each one of them, in an array. Let's change the function name, adding our own theme prefix. And of course, we have to change it over here in add action too. In my case, I don't want all these arguments, so I'm gonna get rid of some of them. This one here. This one's here too. This one. And here I'm gonna type my theme's name. So let's just leave these ones here. The first one is for the WordPress content file. The second one is for the widgets, and the last one is for the customizer. Here we need to change the folder name and the widget file extension, which in this case is WIE. Into this last argument, you can leave a message for the user. It will be displayed before the import. Notice that you need to generate again the POT translation file if you want this message to be translated. We're not going to do this now. Okay, now let's move on to the next steps. How do I automatically configure the menus, the home page, and the blog page? Again, the answer is in the plugin page. It's here. Let's copy this code. I want to change the name of the function here. And here too, of course. The example here is only for a single menu, but we got two menus that needs to be imported. Let's do one at a time. The name of the variable is not important. From here, the only thing we have to be sure of is the menu name, which is this information here. The name of our menu is Fancy Lab Main Menu. This is the name of the menu that has been imported, okay? The name will vary according to the name given to the menu when the export took place. By coincidence, I put the same name that we got here in the functions.php file. So let's pass this name as the value, but yours might have been created with another name. So watch out. This is the point that causes the most confusion. I myself have made a lot of mistakes while doing this. Now on these lines, I have to change this value here. It has to match the menu slug. Let's go back to the functions.php. This value here. Pay close attention. Here's the name you gave to the menu while exporting it. That may not have been the same value you have here. And here's its slug. Now we can add a new line here and here to set up the second menu. I duplicate here. I'll change the name of the variable, menu name, and here I duplicate this line. Second menu slug. And here I change this, passing this variable here. That's it. Step 3 now. Actually, here we're not going to change anything. You only have to change something here if your static pages had different names. That is, if the home page and or the blog page had different names over there in the admin. This one here, and also this one up here. It's the same thing we do using the admin configuration pages, but here everything's being done with code. Perfect. Now the last thing we have to do is add the one-click demo import plugin to the TGM plugin activation array. If you don't do this, the users won't have the plugin available when they activate the theme. Let's open up the required plugins.php file. We duplicate this array here. We pass the name of the plugin. The slug is one-click demo import with hyphens. Now we have the theme ready to be packaged. To finish then, let's compress our theme folder. And there it is. We have the complete theme ready to be replicated anywhere. The only thing that is missing is the translation file that needs to be updated. But since this is a quick test, I'm not going to do it. I'm gonna copy this file to another location. Once again, to do our test, I have here a blank WordPress installation. So here's a tip. This test can be done both on localhost and on a remote server. It doesn't matter because I want to simulate a user who has just bought or downloaded our theme for free. So I'll go over here to Appearance, Themes, Add New, and I'll choose the zipped file we just created. Install it, activate it, and now I have two recommended plugins. I'm going to install and activate both. Now, since this WordPress installation is brand new, WooCommerce has no configuration yet, so that's why this screen is showing up here. For now, I'm gonna just skip this step. Now a new item has appeared here in the Appearance menu. Import demo data. Here the plugin gives me some recommendations. It's asking me to check if all the necessary plugins are active. Here it says that no data from the site will be deleted. So for example, if someone is importing this demo on a site that is already set up and running, nothing will be deleted. Only new content will be added. Here's the message I wanted to be displayed before the import. And let's see if it works. When I click on this button, the plugin will import those three files, which are now on this site too, because that folder demo data came along with the theme. And it will perform those other actions related to the menus and the homepage and blog pages. So let's see. Okay, there you are. Our demo has been imported. Maybe your users will see some error displaying when they are importing the data. If that happens, you have to teach them how to get around some of these issues. For example, they can use this feature here that allows them to import all three files, one at a time. It can be useful sometimes, and they need to know they can use it. On other occasions, they may encounter some permission problems when importing the data. I realized that this can be solved by putting the following line in the wp-config.php file. It's the same line we used earlier in this course to be able to import the WooCommerce demo content, remember? So let's see how the site looks like now. Let's open it this way. And look at that! Apparently the site is identical to what we have in the previous lesson. You can see that the main menu is the same, the slides are identical, all identical, the product sections, the blog, and the footer. It's not perfect because you see that some things don't work yet. For example, you get some links related to WooCommerce that don't work here because they are related to how the theme is configured. That's because we didn't set up WooCommerce on this site yet, since it was an empty WordPress installation. For example, the registration page will not open up. The cart page, the same. But if the import is being done on an existing site that already has WooCommerce, then it is clear that all the pages will already be configured. It is a good idea to make this clear to the user. It's essential information for you to add in the theme documentation, right? To summarize everything, just a piece of information about the problem that happened to me and that can also happen to you. When I opened the site page with the demo for the first time, I saw this page here. If the same happens to you, the quickest way to solve it is simply clear the browser cache. Tip given, so that's what I have for this lesson, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. So, see you then. Bye!